everybody, this is Albert with Green Tea House. I hope you're doing well today. Today we're going to talk about the number one mistake or thing you must know about herbals. Now before we begin, if you haven't visited us here in Green, Texas, outside of New Braunfels, Texas, halfway between San Antonio and Austin, on I-35, come visit us. We'd like to meet you. Also, right now, subscribe and hit the notification bell if you haven't done so already. And post a comment if you like. This is kind of a two-part series. The last episode we did are 4 things you must know about green tea. So I thought it'd be good to do one on herbals. Now, those of you who have watched our content, I guess it's almost been 2 years now, know why I'm air quoting herbals. So what are herbals? Well, we don't really think about that word, that definition. And to be honest, before I delved into tea, I didn't really know the difference. But Camellia sinensis is an infusion. The tea plant, we put it in the leaves in hot water, aside from matcha, which is the grounded up powder, and then we put it in hot water. So that by definition is an infusion. Anytime you put some sort of something from nature into water, by definition that's an infusion. So within the world of infusion, you can put coffee, you can put tea, Camellia sinensis, and you can put herbals. But in the tea world, there's 2 major distinctions, tea and not tea. So today we're going to talk about not tea. Now, more common than not, people will call not teas teas. I love peppermint tea. I love chamomile tea. Those are not teas because they don't come from the tea plant. So it's more of like a problem with semantics. Now, what's the proper term? You could say tisanes. Tisanes is the proper term. A tisane or an infusion. A tisane is anything you essentially throw into hot water and you drink. And we use that term tisanes, it's from the French, for anything that's not tea. So chamomile, peppermint, rooibos, honeybush, butterfly pea flower, the list goes on and on of these things that we throw in hot water and drink them. Now, we should call them all tisanes. So there's tea and tisanes. What's the problem with calling the tisanes herbals? Because they're not all herbs. Licorice root is a root. Cinnamon is a bark. Ginger, turmeric are roots. Now again, you might think, oh, Albert, what's the big deal? You know, it's all the same. We can just call them herbals. Look, you can call them herbals. There's nothing wrong with calling them herbals. I would have more of like nails on a chalkboard if you called them teas because they don't come from the tea plant. It's like calling, a dog a human. It's not a dog. It's not a human. It's a dog. So, in the world of tisanes / herbals, what must you know? I think that the cardinal thing to understand is kind of like what we talked about green tea. A lot of people who just drink herbals will use full boil water and steep it for a long time. And I would say the number one mistake that people make with the tisanes is they use full boil. Now, unlike green tea, where if you full boil green tea, it's going to get really bitter and you've already, like Family Feud, like made a humongous cardinal mistake. With the tisanes, they're much more lenient, or they have much more leeway. Now, I would tell you the majority of tisanes / herbals, I would do around 190 to 200, believe it or not. Now, why? Because a lot of the well-known ones are actually flowers. They're petals. They're very delicate. You think of, or they're leaves. You think of peppermint. You think of chamomile. You think of lavender. You think of rooibos. You think of hibiscus. These are flowers. And yeah, you can do full boil. That's not necessarily a problem, but you can burn a lot of these out and compromise the taste by doing full boil. So the majority of them, I would tell you, do about 200 degrees. Now, if you only have an electric kettle, you don't have a kettle with temperature settings, just do full boil and open the lid and wait about a minute, and that'll get it down from 212 to 200. But I would say that's the number one mistake. Now, when it comes to infusion times, I would tell you, most of these, if not all of them, but most of them will not get bitter if you steep them too long. Nay, I would say that the better thing to do is actually infuse them or brew them a long time, because as I mentioned, some of these, ginger, turmeric, cinnamon, for example, are barks or their roots, and they take longer to extract the benefits out of them. So many of these, I would tell you, 7 to 10 minutes. Now, you might not be able to reuse the leaves or roots or whatever you want to call them, but really brew them long. The majority of them, I would say, I would not do certainly 3, 4, or even 5 minutes. I would say brew them a long time. The last thing you got to know about about herbals is there are some herbals that you don't even want to get close to 200 degrees or even 190. Something like yerba mate. Yerba mate is a shrub, of course, from South America, has a lot of caffeine. That is really actually best down at 175 or 180. And there's going to be other tisanes as well. But the thing you must know about them is they're ideal around 200 degrees and that you should also brew them for quite some time. I'd say on average 7 minutes. Guys, post in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, take care. God bless.